Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
So here's Meeple Circus, the Collector's Edition, and the regular Meeple Circus. You can already tell the behemoth that this thing is going to be versus the size of this little thing sitting over here. So we're going to open both of these up, and I'm going to compare the components. First thing you're going to notice is there is a big dust sleeve on this thing. So we're going to get this massive thing off. And as you can see, it has the Meeple Circus on the side here, which is the acrobat over here, kind of self-imposed on it. So we'll set that aside. And then you're going to have a big wooden box. We'll take the lid off. You see it has Meeple Circus right there on it. And then this one over here. And now we have both of these open. So we're going to take a look at the components here. I'm going to set aside the tiny acrobats. These are expansion stuff that's in here. We're going to set those aside because that is not in here. But you will get tiny acrobats. You got some additional cards in here. And there's a whole bunch of little expansions that'll be in here that will not be included in here. So this is going to come with some additional content. You're also going to get a blindfold, which is not going to be in this part over here. You will get rule books. Now, the rule books are exactly the same. There's no difference. They didn't put this with like linen paper or anything, so the two rule books are exactly the same. No difference. But you will have additional rule books because you're also going to have the wild animal and aerial show. The show must go on. All that includes the blindfold, etc. that will be in here. So you have two additional rule books that will not be in here because this is just the base game, where this is the collector's edition. So let's take a look at the different stuff you're going to have here. So this is going to be the difference in the two measurement things. You can tell that this one's a lot smaller, right? This one also has 15 all the way at the top, and the numbers too have changed a little bit, right? You can see that. So not exactly the same as they were. So that's going to be a little bit different. You're also going to get these play mats. Now these are going to be much, much larger than what you're going to get in here. Look, it fits like right on there. I mean, everything in here is going to be so much bigger. Now, this is no longer something that's kind of cheap and flappy. This is going to be real nice cardboard that you're going to have in here. But they are much, much larger and better quality than what you're going to get in this. When you get down in here, you're going to have these cards. I don't see a whole lot of difference between these cards. I'm going to be honest with you. These are a little bit thicker. That comes with the collector's edition. Otherwise, I think the size is the same. The artwork and everything's going to be the same. These are just a little bit thicker cards, and they're a little bit nicer. Not the nicest cards I've ever seen, but a little bit upgraded from what you're going to get in the base game. They do feel a little bit heavier. They feel like they got a better finish on them. As for my biggest complaint, which would be these that come with it, they feel a little thin. So these are going to be a little bit bigger. You can see here in the size difference. A little bit bigger. The quality's been upgraded a little bit, but not tremendously, to be honest. It's not tremendously overbearingly better. Next, we're going to have these pieces that we have here. They're exactly the same. These have not been changed whatsoever. These are exactly the same size, same quality. You do have some additional ones that you'll have in here for game purposes. And here's these cards that you're going to have. So a little bit better quality. A whole bunch. You're going to have some cubes. That will be in this version. That will be right here. And then we're going to move down to the next level. And then what you're going to see here is the exact one you would have from the base game. The other one was for some expansion stuff. This will be from the base game, but you can definitely see how much larger it is. Probably about twice as large. It goes right past the fold. So yeah, about twice as big that you're going to see here. But it will be exactly the same. So a little bit extra stuff that you're going to have here. You're going to have your score sheets. This one's a little bit thicker. Could have been nicer, to be honest, with this collector's edition one, but it definitely feels a little thicker. Maybe they're exactly the same. Kind of hard to tell, to be honest. You're going to have your score tracker, which looks to be exactly the same, so no real difference there. And here are the cards for this edition, because the other ones I showed you were expansions, but they're exactly the same quality, etc. They're a little bit, let's see here. I think they're a little bit, nope, exactly the same size. So they didn't change those at all. You are going to have some tomatoes in here for some of the expansions. This does not come in the base game because, once again, you're going to have some expansion stuff in this one that you're not going to have any other ones. So let's go down another layer in here. And then you're going to have your Meeples. So this is where the game is going to change a lot. So you can see this big giant Meeple that I'm going to have here and this little small one. Now, this is the big difference between the game is these components will be much larger. And I feared that it would make the game easier. It doesn't. Not to my taste. It actually made the game more playable to me. Because with these little small ones, my hands are so small, maybe that's part of the game. But it wasn't fun that my hands were too big. With this, it's the same dexterity, but my hands aren't too big. So I'm actually able to hold the pieces a little bit better. And that's my big fear. So when I bought this, I was like, you know, I'm going to try it. And I'm going to keep this one because I wasn't sure about the size difference, how that was going to play into it. And it definitely didn't let me down. So you can see the circle here. And then what you would get with this one, you know, it's just much, much, much larger that you're going to get with a new thing. And that's pretty much it. I mean, everything is going to be bigger and thicker, as you can see here. I think this is really where the game is going to shine. This is what you came to see. So these Meeples are all just tremendously bigger than what you would get a normal size Meeple. And this is a lot more impressive when you put it on the table versus this. And this is a very beautifully designed, very beautifully, the components are nice, and it has a lot of wow factor. This just has more due to the size of it, and that's what you're going to get. If you think that the size would be too big, I'd recommend like playing with this. I didn't find that the game was easier because of this, and that was my big fear. So you can see here, we've got the elephants down here and the horses. And I just got to pull these out when I want to use them, but you can definitely see the size difference here. So I can just put the whole elephant there and you can kind of get lost. It almost feels like a baby elephant next to it, right? The sizes are just tremendously larger. Now, this all comes with foam. So this is real nice foam that you're having here where all the pieces kind of set inside there. But you can definitely see the difference of it. And I know I keep harping on it, but I didn't see a lot of gameplay issues with the pieces being bigger. Now, this was a huge plus to me right here. So all of these came... I didn't have to sticker these is what I'm getting at. So these all came looking really good in here. And I didn't have to sticker any of these, which I did with the base game. And I like that quite a bit more. So you can kind of see here the difference in these where I had to sticker these. These came painted on here and they're double size. See, it says the back of them there. Same thing with the stickers, but definitely a size difference. So let me show you. The clown is one of my favorite ones because I like clowns. I think they look cool. But you can definitely see the difference when I show you the same one up. Definitely much larger and bigger. So that's kind of what you're going to get here. On the bottom of this is just going to be the box. So, I mean, this is going to give you the bigger stuff, the nicer stuff, if you will. But it's going to have a lot of the expansions and stuff that are in here too that you can add to it. So I kind of want to show you just, you know, if I was to put this up and let's say this up and then let's grab, you know, a Meeple that I would put here. I can slap this Meeple on here. I could slap a Meeple on here. So it was just as easy for me to do both. If I was to put a brown on him, I can stick a brown on there. And the same thing. Whoop, see? It's not that it's any harder. It's just smaller. So I can pretty much do it fairly easily without too much trouble there. So this is going to give you the bigger, kind of more grandiose looking game. Well, this one's going to be like your more regular size. Now, this is really nice components. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you absolutely, per se, need this. But this is definitely going to be, you know, it's going to look cool. People like playing with this. And I bring this out. People are like, wow, what is this? This is really cool looking. So now it's going to come down to which one do I recommend. Keep one, purge the other, right? That's what we do here. I'm going to keep this one just because it's more impressive. But I'm going to talk about what I like first. I like this. It's bigger. It's grandiose. I like these collector's editions. I like the way they look on the table. And the extra girth and the extra size to it brings a lot to it. And not every game is going to have this excessive thing to it. So I like having these. And I'm a little bit of a sucker for this kind of thing. So go in knowing that. What's right for you? If you look at this and you think there's a difference in playing the game with you think the big version is easier, let's say, get this version. No brainer. If you're on a tight budget, get this version. This is a beautiful version of the game. Nobody's ever going to see this that will likely play this with you. They're not going to know this even exists. So they're not like, I'm playing an inferior version. And in some ways, it's not. In some ways, I thought about keeping both because this is something I'd bring out. It looks really cool. This, you know, is a very beautiful version of the game. Ended up keeping this one. I like it. It comes with all the expansions. This is all I'm ever going to need for the game. I'm not going to need more than this. This is all that I'm ever going to need. Look at all this stuff in here. I mean, there's just so much stuff in here. And it just packs in. I don't really need more Meeple Circus stuff. This is going to be fulfill everything I need. It looks great on the table. The components are out of this world. People are going to like just have fun playing this, and my family does. The big pieces, it's got that wow factor that I'm looking for in a game. This one has it too. Just smaller bits. Which do you want? What does your budget tell you? Where you want? I'm keeping this one. I'm purging that one. This is a great game. I would have kept it, except for I have this version. I'm keeping it.